Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. Now, MSNBC has garnered a reputation as one of the most insane news networks ever to air on television, and they are going out in a blaze of infamy. They are airing one of the most insane narratives you have ever seen. A show segment that was just on is going to make you just absolutely shake your head in disbelief because it is mind-boggling, it is reckless, it is dangerous, and they know exactly what they're doing over there on MSNBC, so that's why they are going out, and we're going to break down this story. Before we do, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Now, the left-wing media has been in a complete mental breakdown since Donald Trump improbably overcame impeachments, assassination attempts, endless lawfare, investigations from the likes of Big Tish and Fannie Willis and Jack Smith. And he has become president of the United States, and they cannot handle it. They don't understand why they're so powerless to stop them. So they keep doubling down on their lies and deceit. And one of the segments that they aired recently is one of the most insane that I have ever seen on any news network. I used to have to monitor CNN and MSNBC as part of my job, either when I was director of viral media at IJ Review or at Fox News for primetime cable news. I've seen a lot of insane segments on CNN and MSNBC, but this one may take the cake.
On Helene's point about the possibility here of war crimes, I mean, even the fact that there are officers who are having that conversation tells you about the 5-alarm fire that we are in, because the Trump administration claims they can lawfully kill people simply because they are suspected of drug trafficking like enemy troops instead of arresting them for prosecution. Does that match your understanding of the law?
No, not American law and not international treaties to which we are a signatory. Basically, the president, and I want to kind of foot stomp behind Paul here about a plan. The American president has said, I can point the U.S. military any place I want and kill anyone I want. That eventually is going to become a principle in the domestic use of the military.
Yes.
He is acclimating people to the notion that the military is his private army, unconstrained by law, unconstrained by norms, unconstrained by American traditions. And that, I don't really think this has anything to do with drugs. I mean, sometimes I wonder how far he's going to go to stop the release of the Epstein files and how many distractions he's going to throw at us. But this is about getting out from under his already dismal record, his record low approval ratings, his struggling with a scandal. And he is now saying, I am going to acclimate the American public to the use of military force anywhere I deem it appropriate under any circumstances. And I may well, the president may be thinking, I may well have us in a war by the time the elections roll around, which will enable me to say any opposition to me and my party is basically treason and unpatriotic.
Tom Nichols, your brain and my brain have gone to the exact same place.
They are accusing Donald Trump of, well, trying to establish in Americans' minds that he has the authority to kill anyone, anywhere. He is not attempting to do any of this, needless to say, but this is one of the most reckless and dangerous segments I've ever seen. Okay, so infamous Never Trumper Tom Nichols of The Atlantic is on MSNBC, soon to be MS Now, because they have trashed their brand so terribly that, well, their parent networks, Comcast and NBC, the mothership there, they probably don't want to be associated with them anymore, and who is to blame them? But apparently they're trying to incite political violence against Trump and Trump supporters. There is no other way to interpret this, because carrying out airstrikes against narco traffickers who are trying to kill Americans, that is the job of the commander-in-chief. They can whine that it is against domestic law and international law, and you don't have to go to a court to get permission to take out drug traffickers who are coming in illegally into the United States. And I think this is the source of the misunderstanding, well, alleged misunderstanding. You are not allowed to enter the United States illegally. I know this is really, really hard for leftists to understand, but if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. And I think, well, I'm paraphrasing someone you might know. It's that alleged hard right conspiracy theorist Bernie Sanders. Yeah, he just said if you don't have borders, you don't have a country. Huh, interesting coming from a socialist. And Tom Nichols and the gang at MSNBC, they know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to stoke political violence. I'm just going to call it like it is. You do not say these kind of things unless your intention is to fearmonger the mentally unstable people in this country to commit acts of violence. And why is that? Because Trump is cutting off the international slush funds that Tom Nichols' buddies rely on. They suck on it like teats, and they just fleece American taxpayers. And that's what these international NGOs do. That is what their purpose is. They are there to fleece taxpayers. And when you have NRI, NDI, all of these international organizations that have been cut off along with the USAID, well, they are going to say anything they can to get those tens of billions of dollars in ill-gotten gains back again. They also want to see tens of millions of illegal aliens stay in the United States so they can pump up their phony census numbers, and also to get them amnesty so that they can eventually vote for Democrats who are, quite frankly, trying to break the U.S. economy and run us into so much debt that, well, it's going to collapse the dollar and it will cause a worldwide catastrophe. And that's when socialists, they try to take power, because then they promise all sorts of goodies and freebies for everyone. And of course there's strings attached. It just means slavery to the state. And we've seen that over and over again. China, Laos, Cambodia, Ethiopia, Russia, the entire Soviet bloc, Venezuela. We see this over and over again, and American people should not be falling for it. This is an old playbook. And if you read history, you are not fooled one bit by what the Democrats are doing. They're trying to paint Trump as a fascist. That's an old communist playbook. It comes from the 1930s. And this is what American socialists have been trying to do, is paint their opposition as fascist. That's what Antifa tries to do. Even though they are authoritarian, they are hard left. And, so their opponents, they're not fascists. They're not authoritarians. They're trying to impose law and order, while the hard left tries to create lawlessness in this country and political violence. So no, it's not a reaction. It's just enforcing law and order as the Constitution provides. So weigh in with your own thoughts. We always appreciate hearing from you at Explain America.